What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Kong Spideyzilla channel. And today, we're going to be reacting to more Mr. Nightmare videos. And a lesson to all of you donkeys. Yes, these are true scary horror stories. They most likely are. Maybe. Some of them may not be real, but most likely, I'm pretty sure I heard that they are real. So, this stuff is not meant to be taken lightly or funny. This is serious stuff. Alright? Highly true, Shrek. Alright. So this might get a little disturbing. Oh yeah, to end off the summertime, we are going to react to beach horror stories and summertime horror stories. Apparently there was a volume 1 of that, but apparently the creator couldn't find it in time, so yeah, we're starting it now. And a message to you all. Youngsters, this is not meant for you, alright? This contains mature content. So if you guys watch this video, do not go onto his YouTube channel because you're not mature enough yet. Yeah, exactly what you said, Dino Dude. Alright, let's get into this. Yeah, because it's exactly what, we said last time. Even though we're not here, the other guys are busy, so they couldn't return, but we're here. And we're gonna getting to make sure that we're gonna react to more of these since Halloween's coming up and Kong Spideyzilla has a secret plan for the Wario brothers and the Mario characters themselves. So yeah, stay tuned for that, subscribers of this guy's channel. So yeah, we don't want to bore you out with this intro. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into it. In 3, 2, 1, and action. And shout out to Mr. Nightmare. Alright, let's roll, donkeys. I'm a bunny, not a donkey. Well, whatever, bunny. Okay, starting now. Okay, Bo, calm down. I just hate when that happens, we just keep going for too long. But don't worry, starting right now. Let's listen.
Christina. We met through mutual friends, and after a while of commenting on each other's Snapchat stories, I decided to just bite the bullet and ask her out on a date. It was mid-July, so options for things to were abundant.
That honestly sounds very
Namely,
painful.
The beach and anything outdoors was an option for a first date. There's a beach by me that allows trucks to drive onto it with proper permits, and I frequently go there still to this day with my pickup truck. It was a night that neither of us had work the next day, so we decided to go to the beach and have a little bonfire with some drinks. On a weeknight past 8 o'clock, I knew next to nobody else would be on the beach that late,
yeah,
so it was what seemed like a perfect first date in privacy. She lived only 5 minutes away from me.
Stingray, I didn't notice you didn't introduce yourself.
Stopped at a 7-Eleven where I bought
well,
some
that's because
for the fire.
I was sleeping. I'm a very silent sleeper, so.
To be honest, I'd never started a fire
before
that, so I was scared of embarrassing myself. But on paper,
okay,
it sounded
Knuckles.
like a good idea. I pulled us onto the trail that leads to the beach. It's a decently long
how
trail,
come we didn't introduce
and at one point
Knuckles?
there's a fork in the path where 99% of people turn right to the main beach, but I often go left because it's a lesser known, smaller but more private section of beach. We went left, and when we got to the beach section, we were the only people there. I had my brights on and could see basically all the way down the empty beach, not another truck in sight. I pulled my truck up on a sandhill, then parked it, and we started to unload the truck. I dug a hole with my shovel to place the firewood and some smaller fire-catching sticks, and honestly, I couldn't get a fire to catch. I tried for 20 minutes and couldn't do it, and I called it quits.
Just do it the same thing I did. Come on now, it's not hard.
For a little bit, drinking the beers we
you did. I'm pretty sure you did an ogre thing,
was the waves hitting the beach, but Christina was the first to point out that she heard something else in a whisper. I started to listen closer, shifting all my attention to that, and I heard what she meant. It was this whistling sound. Not like a bird, it was a person for sure. Christina and I looked at each other with telling faces of how freaked out we were. The whistling was extremely close.
You undisciplined weaklings.
I went into my
Just
truck
listen.
And turned on the headlights. And I heard Christina scream. We both saw the back of a man's head hurrying
Just
out
get
of the tall
the heck
beach
out of
grass
there.
The little hill
Come
of
on.
Above my truck. He had likely been there the whole time, watching us for some reason.
Oh, that's disturbing.
To get lost to the creek.
Exactly right, Dad.
I went up the little hill and
I'll
tried to follow
myself.
him, but right away,
Hey,
I lost sight of him.
PG to
There was tall beach
PG-13,
grass
alright.
everywhere. You could
Excuse
have
me,
been
that
hiding in
ain't
any
that
of it.
rated R.
I took out
Shush.
my phone to use its flashlight and got on my toes
Okay,
to get a
guys,
look
quiet.
over the grass.
Don't tell me to be
Looking
quiet.
back, I don't even think I wanted to
I'll
find
beat you
him,
face to
so I don't
face
know
in
why I
hand-to-hand
didn't just get in the
combat.
car right away and leave.
Okay,
Christina called me
okay.
back to just get in the car and leave.
That's what I thought.
Then I heard the whistle
Alright,
again.
donkeys. Let's
It
watch.
sounded way too close for comfort, like within 10 feet from me.
Ugh, I
Christina
hate
heard
that
it
whistling.
too, and she once again begged me to come back to the car. I did. I went back down the little
Ugh.
hill and started packing the
That
chairs
is
and
so
bags into the
scary,
bed of my
man.
truck. As
It
I
is
was getting
Poe.
into the truck, I stopped and heard a humming from the same spot. It was clear by this point someone was deliberately trying to scare us. We got in the car, and I switched my lights off and turned the engine on.
This
I
creepo.
sat there for a few moments, waiting.
I thought he was
because
gonna
I
be
knew
in front
that
of the
whoever was
car.
in the grass would come look
I
at
know,
us
right,
after hearing
little
the engine
chippy
start and
Godzilla?
the lights turn off. And I was right. I turned my lights back on. For just a brief moment, a man's face could be seen looking through the grass into my truck. The light being turned back on made him hide back in the grass.
No.
I was tempted to get out and beat the guy up, but Christina stopped me and convinced me that he may be sick in the head or armed, or both.
I was originally gonna
Just
say
leave.
punch him in the
I
face,
agreed,
but
and we left
you
the
know,
beach, the whole time looking behind us to make
he
sure
could
we
have been
weren't being
armed.
followed.
But that
It
was
an
me.
incredibly tense
Oh,
and
I'm
scary
going
drive
full
off that
force.
beach. With the amount of crazy
Knuckles,
people
I
out
know
there,
the
I have
triggering
no
thing
idea
happened
what
to
that
you
man's
yesterday.
intentions
Just
were, but nothing about
shut
that
up.
entire encounter was normal at all.
Bonnie. Oh, an unskippable ad. Bonnie. Yeah, you wanna know why he's like this? What? It's because he looked up DeviantArt and saw pictures of Rouge. Oh. People, children, do not go to that website. I beg of you, do not go to that website, okay? It's cursed. What are you guys talking about? Nothing. We're just whispering about the plans. How is everything gonna go on Halloween? Alright? Yeah, true. If I find out that you guys are lying, you guys are getting a fist to the face. Okay, donkey. You better stop saying that. Okay, I can, better. Ads
When I
break
was
done,
younger,
guys.
my family rented a beach house for a weekend one summer. The house rental was cut extremely short, and
That
this is why.
story was
It
pretty
was our first day
scary.
there. We went to the beach and
It
then
was
went out to eat for
Stingray. It
dinner.
was Mr.
The
Stingray.
sand dunes were very hilly near the house, and that night, my brother Joey and I came up with the idea of sand sledding down the hills. We found a couple big cardboard boxes in one of the closets in the house, so we cut pieces off the boxes to use as sleds. Our parents didn't mind us
Who
going out
keeps
in the dark
doing
as long
that?
as we wouldn't stray too
Sorry,
far
I
away
got
from the
sinuses
house.
problem today.
We found what seemed to be the tallest part of the
Hmm.
sand hill and started
least you're not
riding
doing
down
it
the
on
pieces
purpose.
of cardboard box as if they were
Okay,
sleds.
thank you, Knuckles, for not
It
threatening
worked
me.
pretty well, actually.
Welcome.
When Joey made it to the bottom, I'd say his third or fourth time, he called up to me, "Tyler, what is that?" I didn't see what he meant, so I slid down the hill again and looked at what he was pointing at. It was something in the ocean. It was this black object sticking out from the water. The moon's reflection on the ocean was just enough to see this object, but not know what it
Of
is.
course.
It looked
Of
like
course,
something
it's
was
always the
definitely
water.
floating in the water, though. We were a little
Doesn't
freaked out
always
and too
have to
scared
be
go closer and
dinosaur.
look at what it was. So we walked a little further down the beach to look for a different hill. We found one that wasn't as tall, but it was still near enough to the house.
Excuse me.
My
What do you
brother
mean,
slid down the
Bunny?
hill first.
I
stood at the top
silently
watching.
burped.
I looked out to the ocean again.
I think I even
and
slightly
saw
heard
black
that.
object in the water again.
I did.
It's as if we didn't even move, or as if it followed us. I yelled at Joey to look at the ocean again. He looked and probably
If
saw
any
it
of you
right
guys did
away.
anything like that
As he ran
again,
up the hill to me,
you're
freaked
getting a
out.
fist to the
We
face.
were discussing what we thought the thing could be.
Okay.
Maybe we
Okay.
didn't move as much as we thought we did. We stared at the object for a while. And we could see it
I'm
was
so
hopping
happy
around
I'm
a
not
bit. We
in
looked
those
down the beach
waters.
at the house we were staying at. It wasn't too far away, so we decided to get a closer look at this floating object. We thought maybe it was a dead animal floating in the water. We
Oh.
couldn't have been more wrong. As we got
God, you
maybe
think
halfway
this
to
is a
the
horror
water,
story?
the black object
Mr.
floating around bottom
Dino
of the
Dude?
water started
Okay.
to rise.
Um,
And we
they
realized
do
it wasn't
not know
floating
that.
at all.
Oh,
A
sorry.
person's body was revealed as they stood up at a towering height, arms now flat at their sides. It was a person's head this whole time. We ran to the house and slammed the door behind us, yelling to our parents.
Nope.
Our parents seemed confident that there was no threat from someone going for a night swim, though, even after we said they were following us in the water. Our dad went out to the backyard deck with the lights on and looked around the beach. And when he didn't
This
see
dude should
anyone,
bring a
he
gun.
told us we had nothing to worry about.
Exactly.
It wasn't until later that
Thank
night
you, Dino
we
Dude.
heard our mom scream from
Welcome.
the living room as Joey and I were in the room we were sharing. We jumped out of our
Don't
beds
tell me
to
something
rush
bad happened to
outside
the
and see
mother.
what it was. As we entered the
Better
living
not
room,
be.
Dad
I'll
yelled at
track
us to
that
go back
criminal
to our
down
room.
and punch
We
him.
didn't listen right away. They were looking at something outside.
Yeah,
We
go
walked over to
ahead.
see what it
You
was
would
they
do
were
that,
staring
Knuckles.
at.
I'm rooting for you.
Close enough to see him, a naked, smiling man on the backyard deck.
Ugh.
My dad then physically moved us back
Alright,
into our bedroom
donkey.
and told us not to
Alright,
come out.
you deserve a
We
punch
heard
to the
everything,
face.
as our dad was screaming threats of calling the police at the man. Then there was a loud bang from the glass of the back door, accompanied with the sound of our mom screaming. Our dad yelled at our mom to go stay with the kids. She came into the room and tried to comfort us.
Alright.
We heard our dad calling 911.
If I saw that man,
all while
I'll
hearing
pull a
periodic bangs
skadoosh
on
on
the
him.
glass.
I don't
Our
care.
dad is not a big guy, and he's far from a fighter, so the chances of him going outside to confront that man himself were slim to none unless it was absolutely necessary. This went on for a few minutes before the bangs stopped and our dad seemed calmer.
Okay,
A bunch
good.
of police cars came to the house. There were more police officers in the house than I can remember counting. My brother and I were asked to describe what we saw on the beach to help tie the whole story together. Our parents to this day tell us that the most likely explanation was a child predator on drugs. It was a very sick and disturbing thing for our entire family to go through.
Ugh.
In fact, 12 years later, it's still cringy and disturbing to think back on. And yes,
You
the obvious
think?
answer to the obvious question, did we leave
Disgusting.
after that encounter?
I'm even
Yes,
more
we
glad
did.
I wasn't in those
And our parents
waters.
got their money back.
Man, I'm
We
happy
ended up
for you,
staying at a
Stingray.
nearby
Oh my
resort
goodness.
so as not to waste the weekend. But obviously,
You bet
we were all a
money.
bit shaken
If
up
he
after
was
that.
there, I would have stung him. Yes, deserves the pain. I'm against bad people so badly. Because if you guys know my backstory, you would know
wanted to go
why.
to this local beach fireworks show for the 4th of July. However, all the main beach parking lots were completely full. It was absolute chaos trying to find
Those
parking.
criminals deserve some justice.
Eventually, we ended up driving further
Exactly,
down the road to a
Bonnie
less
the Bunny.
crowded, almost empty parking lot.
Yeah, Knuckles.
People were parked in the lot, sitting on beach chairs in the parking lot, apparently ready to watch the show from there. But Stevie and I didn't want to do that.
I should go
We walked onto
Johnny
the
Cage
blanket
style.
flags.
Right
We had to
in
cross
the...
a tunnel under the
you know where.
overpass to get to the beach side, away from the parking lot. The beach was surprisingly empty. Apparently, we were the only ones who thought it'd be a good idea to walk to the main beach. We started our long walk. We walked for literally 20 minutes until the fireworks started shooting into the air. We weren't that close, but it was better than nothing, and we were tired from walking. We had the beach to ourselves where we laid down the blanket. We were literally just making the best of the situation. The fireworks
Sorry
started
guys, my
listening
sinuses
off.
again.
About 10 minutes into the show, I heard voices from behind
You
us.
think you could go blow your
Turned around and
nose
saw
or
a few
something?
people in the distance.
That can get annoying.
They were standing
Sorry
facing the
about that.
fireworks. Nothing strange there. Probably just more people watching the fireworks show. We sat for another 10 minutes or so. Around the time
It's a
the
normal
show
habit
ended.
thing of mine as
We
well.
were being eaten alive by mosquitoes by that point, so we picked all our stuff up and started speed walking back.
Man, you
We
gotta
passed
hate
a
it when
few
that
tunnels,
happens.
and although they all looked the same,
Yeah,
we
highly
remembered
agreed.
that the one we crossed had 2 garbage cans right next to the left wall.
I think it's very funny because that Mr. Toad guy has a assistant mosquito. So yeah.
I slowed my walk, but didn't come to a complete halt because I was
Come near
instantly
me,
wary
you're
of
getting
this guy.
squished.
He looked to be one of the guys I had seen in
Luckily,
the
he's
distance earlier.
tamed. So
He was pointing into the tunnel next to him.
wait,
saying his friend
Mr.
was
Toad
injured
tamed
and he needed
that
help,
mosquito
and
guy?
that he didn't have a
Yeah,
phone on him.
I heard it myself.
Stevie seemed equally sketched out as
Mr.
me.
A Toad training a
Continued to inch
mosquito?
away
What the
from guy
fudge?
while holding
What
her.
type of fictional
He was this
universe do we
young
live in?
Hispanic
I
man who
question that
appeared to be in his
sometimes.
mid-20s.
Exactly. It's
I
all
asked him where
weird.
his friend was, and he said in the parking lot beyond the tunnel. I looked into
No,
the tunnel.
not the
It was
tunnel,
completely pitch
please.
black. There was no way in hell I was
No.
going through there. This
Yes,
seemed
good.
incredibly off.
Rooting for you,
I
man.
apologized and
Survive.
said we're in a hurry, and pulled Stevie along with me as we continued to walk quickly away. The man's tone changed to more annoyed, angry.
Of course, you gotta root for him. Come on, man. This is a. These are real stories. Most likely.
To Stevie to keep walking.
Sorry, I listen to fake ones. I get too used to those. I feel sorry for all of you people out there that have to go through horrible situations like this.
People were tailing us from not far
Yeah.
behind, already indicating that the man lied about his so-called injured friend. We were about to be jumped. I could feel it. I told Stevie to run ahead to the tunnel with the 2 garbage cans.
That's what I was about to say.
I knew if we both
Yeah,
ran,
run.
it would probably trigger the group of men behind us to chase us.
And I wish I was there to save him. With my scary ogre roar.
I realized the men behind me were getting closer. wanted to give Stevie a little more time to get ahead to the car before I would book it. By the time I'd made it to the tunnel, I turned around again, and the three men were almost right on top of me now. One of them started shouting, "Hey, come here." Stevie was trying to call me, but I couldn't pick up. As soon as I got to the entrance of the tunnel, I felt that they were about to run up to me and grab me, so I booked it through the tunnel, and I heard their footsteps right behind me. I sprinted on the concrete wall barefoot, but I endured the pain and the heat of the moment. Fear for my life.
That hurts.
I made it through the tunnel to the parking lot, which was lit up by streetlights, thank God. Somewhere in the tunnel, the three men stopped chasing me. The parking lot was now empty besides two other cars, and my car, which Stevie was already in with the lights on. I ran to get in the car, and I looked back one final time to the tunnel, and saw two of the three guys standing probably 10 feet into the tunnel, watching. I got in the car, and we drove out of the parking lot and down the parkway. And honestly, I was never so relieved to see the taillights of a traffic jam with thousands of people leaving the main beach parking lots. I have no clue if we were going to be mugged or murdered, but clearly those people were there that night with a plan. I'm glad we didn't fall for their trap.
Alright, going straight into was that the
I'm 18 years
audio?
old, going to be a freshman in college this September.
I think that was.
This past July,
I thought that was coming from outside,
held a
Donkeys.
pool party in our backyard as a sort of graduation
I mean,
minus any of her family being around because her parents were away. She often has the house to herself.
You folks.
So her parents' house is the go-to spot for a lot of hangouts.
That's what
she
I
invited
thought.
like 100 people from our grade. There had to be upwards of 150 people there at the night's peak. I was one of the first to show up with my friend Jonah, because we're close with Miranda, so we wanted to help out a little bit. By the time people started showing up, everyone congregated slowly from the kitchen and living room to outside of the
straight
backyard
into
by the
summer
pool.
horror stories.
Some people brought their bathing suits and jumped into the pool. Others just jumped in their underwear. And then of course most others just stood around the pool.
That's gross.
She has a huge backyard. At a certain
I can
point,
understand
so many
with
people were at the
swimsuits,
party that it was clear as day people were bringing friends from other schools because we didn't know everyone there, and Miranda was getting mad because she made it clear she didn't want randoms. In fact, unfamiliar people seemed to be just barging through the gate, not even accompanied with people from our school or grade. There wasn't much we could do, though. The party was already too crazy to easily control. Miranda did throw in our class group chat not to bring any more randoms or they'd be asked to leave. The problem seemed to slow down after that. At around 1 a.m., police came to the house and had to shut down the party due to multiple complaints from neighbors. So the music was turned off, and 99% of the guests were asked to leave.
Yeah, you should.
Mostly everyone cleared out, except a few close friends, including some of Miranda's girlfriends, Jonah and I, and a few other guy friends.
Because most likely something is going to go wrong, right?
Like
yeah, what if their parents come back? Exactly.
Eventually, it was just 4 of us left.
I agree
there.
with you, Ray
I'm
and
talking
Poe.
at like 3 a.m., if not later. Since it was hot outside, we migrated to the inside of the house in the air conditioning, where we were just chilling in the living room continuing to drink. Then we all heard a distinct crack from upstairs, and we went silent. Miranda was the first to ask what was that, as we all looked at half laughing, half freaked out faces. Jonah and I laughed, teasing Miranda that someone was upstairs in her room, and she begged us to stop and check it out. So we did. We went upstairs to Miranda's room. It was clear. We then went to the guest room that used to be her older brother's room, and we found one of our friends, Steve, passed out in the bed.
Okay, I thought we were going to
went downstairs to tell her that Steve was upstairs and knocked out.
Wait a minute.
I guess that gave her a sigh of relief. Looking back, that didn't much explain a sound coming from upstairs if he was knocked out of bed, though.
That's what I was about to say.
But we weren't
Me
exactly
too.
the most coherent at that moment. Eventually, Miranda and her friend Mel went to sleep
I guess
in
that
her
makes
room.
more sense.
Jonah fell asleep on the couch. I went to her parents' bed. None of us were okay to drive anywhere. I can't remember how much time passed before I remember one of the girls screaming in the next room over, and then both of them.
Oh, thank goodness it's a jump scare. I thought it was going to be a jump scare.
But I realized pretty quickly the screams were way too real.
I
burst out of the bed and went to Miranda's room and opened the door.
Man, despite
the lights
being
were
lit,
out.
you'd be
I could
good
barely
for
see
you're
anything,
kind of a
except
wimp.
for the two girls huddled up hugging
Come
each
on.
other in the corner of the room, basically curled up on the floor. I saw what they were screaming at. There was a tall person in the opposite corner of the room, on the other side of the bed from them.
Outright.
I saw him looking at me in the doorway. I yelled at the girls
Give him
to
a
run,
knuckle
and they
sandwich
did.
to the face.
There was so much yelling that even Steve woke up and came out. As the girls ran downstairs, screaming that the man was touching their feet, we followed.
Oh,
looking back, the three guys there, we regrettably didn't try to overpower that one man. We all left the house, and one of us called the police, waiting by the neighbor's house with the neighbors, possibly the same ones who called the cops on the party. We didn't see the man leave the front door ever, and after
Sorry,
police
guys,
searched the house
sinuses.
and couldn't find him, that meant he left through the
Come
back
on.
door. None of us recognized
Sorry,
who that
Knuckles.
man was. It was probably an older man who knew Miranda somehow that snuck into the house during the commotion of the party and thought Miranda would be alone after the party. It's some sick, scary stuff.
Ugh.
Whether we could have overpowered him or not, we'll never know, because we don't know if
Alright,
he was
he
armed.
either a mental crazy creepy ex, or he's just some creepy guy that knows her.
There's a nice quiet
Yeah, I want to
scenic
get a little
creek
too
not far from my
close to
house.
her.
I like to drive my kayak up to it every once in a while on the weekends in the summer. This one
Man,
particular
some men
weekend
out
was
there
one of
just
those
need to
weekends.
respect women,
The weather
respect
was
girls.
perfect, sunny
Yes,
in the 70s.
men don't realize women can be
Never had
strong
I seen
too.
anyone else kayaking it. That's part of the reason I like it, because I'm a very
Spiritually
reserved person
and
and I
in
like to do
soul,
things
they can be
myself,
equally as
preferably
strong
with
as us
privacy.
males.
So I set out on the kayak not far from where I parked my car, which is some gravelly dirt parking area right off the road. There was one other car that pulled in a few minutes after I did, which was unusual. I'd never seen any other cars except my own here. 20 minutes into my kayaking,
That is
someone
if
came
you
out
have
from
a
the woods
good
ahead of me
heart.
coming up on the left and approached the edge
Yeah.
of the water. He stopped and waved at me and smiled. He put his hands on his hips and greeted me. It seemed he had an expectation for me to stop and chat.
That's
I
very
instantly
strange,
knew
but
I didn't
okay.
like his smile, but my mother raised me to be polite to everybody, so I stopped paddling and smiled and
Well, that's a
greeted him
good
back.
thing, but did she
There
teach
was
you
an
about
awkward
stranger
pause where he
danger?
was just nodding his head with his closed lips smile.
Fortunately, a lot of
And I had
parents
to
don't
break
teach
the
their kids
silence
that
by
these
saying, "It's a
days.
beautiful day out."
That is
He
very
nodded his
sad.
head and said, "Yup," then asked where I'm from. I made something up and said, "From up north, just visiting." He clearly lacked the ability to hold any sort of conversation, and that's coming from me, who's not the most social person myself, so I wanted to just move along. I told him to have a great rest of his day, and continued onward down the river. Never in a million years was I expecting what happened next to happen. I turned when I heard the snap of a stick or something from not far
Oh
behind me.
no.
There in the not so
Yep,
far
yep,
distance
he's
was the
stalking
guy,
him.
hiding behind a couple trees, seemingly following
Or
me.
even worse.
I was disturbed and uncomfortable, like he was clearly trying to not be seen. I was scared to call him out in fear of how he might respond, so I pretended not to notice him and continued to kayak down the creek. I would continue to side glance every so often to see if he was still following me, and he was. I had never wanted to see someone else in the water so much in my life. I took out my phone to try to call my dad or my brother for help, but of course I had no cell reception out there. Still,
Man,
instead
they
of
need
being
to somehow
followed and
make
probably
phones
attacked,
advanced,
I
man.
decided to stop in my place,
Then again, this
turn
could have
around,
taken
and then
place in the
threaten to
past.
call the police if he didn't stop
True.
following me.
True.
The man just stood in place behind another big tree, though he was clear as day there. I then decided to fake call the cops. I raised my phone in the air at the man. I said, "I see you there. I'm calling them now."
Better to
And
actually
then
call
proceeded
them,
to
but
fake the
faking
phone
is a
call,
good
pretending
option.
like I'm talking to the police. The man started to walk away deeper into the woods. It seemed to have worked. I turned around immediately and started kayaking back up the way I came, as fast as I possibly could. I would constantly look over my shoulders until I got back to where I launched the kayak. I made it safely. I checked my whole surroundings before stepping out of the water and carrying my kayak back to my car. The other car in the little parking area was still there, but I made a disturbing discovery that may have saved my life. Up until this point, everything that happened could have maybe been explained away. However, I noticed broken glass near the back of my car, and the back passenger side window wasn't there anymore. It had been shattered. I didn't step 1 foot closer to my car. I stayed hidden in the woods and checked if I had bars now that I was closer to the road. I did, and I called 911 successfully.
Heck no,
I
donkey.
reported the whole incident and the broken window, and I stated I was scared I was still being followed. Waiting for the police to arrive felt like the longest, most tense moment of my life. It dragged on far too long. When they pulled into the dirt area, I finally came out from the woods and waved at them. I pointed to the car, and 2 police officers came out and approached the car where they found him, the man from the woods, waiting in the back seat of my car, hiding, waiting for me to enter my car to grab me. It was beyond satisfying to see him arrested. He definitely wasn't smiling anymore. I looked at him.
Yeah,
It
you
almost looked like he
you
was
shouldn't
avoiding
be
looking at
smiling,
me as he
donkey.
was taken to the police car. I'm happy the man was so stupid that he thought I wouldn't notice shattered glass all over the side of my car.
Now that is a smart person right there.
What you're about to hear is something that will sound like it was straight
Exactly
from a horror
right,
movie,
Knuckles.
but it's absolutely true.
Thanks, Bunny.
Every summer, my friends and I go on a camping
Welcome,
trip
Knuckles.
to a new location. It's a tradition we've had for years. One year, we chose a hiking trail in West Glacier, Montana. My friend Luke is a photographer, so he always likes to bring his camera equipment and get lots of nature shots. Our first day there,
I
the
bet
three
you
of us
those look
did
a lot
of
of nice
hiking and
views.
exploring,
I wonder if
taking
this
in
is
the
how the
sights and
picture this
allowing
man
Luke
will
to get
take
a
of my
lot
swamp.
shots. That first night there,
Shrek,
nothing
you
was
and
out
your
of the
swamp.
ordinary. We had 2 tents. I
It's
was alone in
beautiful.
mine while the other 2 shared theirs.
Don't you dare
The
talk about
next
my
day,
home
we did
like
some fishing
that.
at a nearby river, and a few other things that aren't really that
Whatever.
interesting to talk about. But that second night was where things got weird. The fire had just been put out, and we went to our respective tents. None of us had even fallen asleep yet when we started hearing sounds from out in the woods. It was very clearly a person's voice. It sounded like an older woman's voice. It kept getting louder and more clear every 10 seconds or
No.
so.
Oh no.
I called over to my friend's
Alright,
tent
whenever you
right
hear a
next
noise
to
like
mine,
that, it's gonna
asking
get
if they
scary.
heard that, and they called
Yeah.
back saying yes. Someone was out there. The voice got so close and so clear that we could hear her saying hello. I was shaking in my socks. Maybe you might think we're bad people for not jumping to help an older woman who may have been stranded in the woods, but that just didn't seem right.
Remember, they could
Being in
trap
the
you,
middle of the
donkey.
woods at night,
I
hearing
agree,
someone calling
highly
out
agreed.
hello is beyond terrifying.
Very true.
I heard footsteps
Exactly.
approach the tent, then stop. The voice once again said hello, but it was right outside the tent this time. And now that it was this close, it didn't sound like a woman anymore. It sounded like a man trying to sound like a woman, raising the pitch in his voice. The person outside my tent suddenly started
that's
shaking
just
the tent
ugly.
aggressively, and I freaked out and screamed, "What do
Exactly.
you want?"
Frog,
My friend
donkey.
shouted to go away to the person. The shaking then stopped as suddenly as it started, and I heard the footsteps quickly hurry
No.
away.
Mm-mm.
I waited a few
Nope.
moments before unzipping my
Nope.
tent and grabbing my sleeping bag to go to my friend's tent. Even those brief 5 seconds outside the tent, I felt like I was going to be grabbed at any moment. I felt safer as I was in the tent with them and not alone anymore. None of us knew what to think, but we all 3 agreed it didn't sound like an actual woman. It sounded like some creepy man pretending to be one to get us to let our guards down. The question was, why though? Was he
At
carrying
least
a
they
weapon?
knew.
Either way, we
Yes,
didn't
they
think
played
it was
it
safe to get
smart.
up and leave now. We agreed to leave first thing in the morning as soon as the sun would begin to rise. We also agreed that someone would need to stay awake at all times to keep watch, so we agreed to take turns sleeping. My friend Matt took the first shift, while Luke and I tried to sleep, which was hard to do after what just happened, especially when we were hearing footsteps surrounding the tent. Eventually though, after many tense hours, I managed to fall asleep out of pure exhaustion.
Especially that poor security guard in my games.
Apparently, Luke fell asleep on his shift, and we were all asleep by that point. We were happy the sun was up, so we packed our stuff and headed back to the truck. It was a long ride home, and during the drive, Luke was going through his camera looking at the shots that he got over the course of the 2 days there. The last 3 pictures, however, were not pictures that he took. There were 2 pictures taken of our campsite while it was still dark out.
Oh no,
the third picture was taken inside of our tent, with all 3 of us asleep. Nothing was missing or stolen, strangely enough, and none of us were attacked in any way. Yet it remains the most fucked up thing that has ever happened to any of us. Some random creep out in the woods stalking our tent, and waiting for the right moment to enter our campsite, go through our stuff, sneak into our tent, and take a picture of all 3 of us, probably just to freak us
gross.
out. And whoever it was,
Disgusting
they accomplished their
people.
goal for sure.
Exactly. Ugh. Alright guys, it's over. Alright. Excuse me, audience, and you guys. Let's just say, I'm gonna give a rock a bad time. Okay, you do that, Nux. Yeah, he's highly offended about that, isn't he? Yeah, but even then, we don't talk about that, okay? That stuff is disturbing and cringy. Okay, shut up, all you donkeys. We're not supposed to talk about that. We're listening to some scary horror stories, and that's what we came here for, alright? I feel terrible for him. Yeah. And if you guys are watching this, of course, if kids just so happen to not listen to us, repeat, listen, okay? Do not watch this Mr. Nightmare guy, and do not go on random websites. You can encounter some people there. Stranger danger. Just like, the Mr. Nightmare situation. Yeah, exactly. Listen out today, people. Remember to always be safe. Exactly. Without further ado, stay tuned, guys, for the second part. Well, excuse me. Why do you narrators always mess up? It's just so cringy. You mess up so many dang times yourself too. Well, don't care. You're acting more like a leader than me, alright? You're a leader too, I mean, of your gang. Exactly. You know why I act like that? It's all just an act. It's just for fun. Oh, I didn't really think about that. I'm the good old Shrek that people know and love. Not like that meme imposter of me, but I gotta admit, he's somewhat cooler than I am. But guess what? The twist behind that, he is also me. Yeah. I do also put other people in life over me. Well, I'll give that one to you. Sorry, just, you know us, some certain animals, monsters, and humans, whatever we can be, we stumble with our words. I admit, I do that too, donkey. Alright. Shrek, I'm sorry about that. How about you go ahead and turn off the video? Be sure to subscribe to Kong Spideyzilla, guys. And be sure to like this video and go ahead and like it, and shout out to Mr. Nightmare. And Shrek the Ogre prays to all of those people out there that they still somehow managed to recover from that. And of course, in the words of this man right here, Kong Spideyzilla, have a good day and peace out.